Scientists have discovered that rocks blasted from Mars by asteroid impacts have traveled through space for millions of years before landing on Earth, and some contain what appear to be fossilized microorganisms. This proves that life could travel between planets, but recent evidence suggests something far more extraordinary may have happened billions of years ago. For over a billion years, Earth's climate and atmosphere remained mysteriously stable in conditions that would have been perfect for an advanced civilization to quietly manage our planet's systems. Ancient rocks contain isotope signatures and mineral formations that some researchers believe could only result from large-scale technological activity during Earth's earliest history. But if aliens really did live on Earth billions of years before any life we know about existed, what happened to them, and did they intentionally prepare our planet for us? Every year, 40,000 rocks crash into Earth from the cold darkness of space. Most burn up as bright streaks across the night sky, but some survive the fiery journey and hit the ground as meteorites. Scientists who study these space rocks have made a discovery that changes everything we thought we knew about life in the universe. Hidden inside meteorites from Mars, researchers have found tiny shapes that look exactly like fossilized bacteria. These microscopic forms are so small, you would need a powerful microscope to see them, yet they tell an incredible story about life traveling between worlds. The rocks themselves prove something amazing already happens in our solar system. When a giant asteroid slams into Mars, the impact is so violent it blasts chunks of the red planet into space at speeds over 25,000 miles per hour. These Martian rocks then drift through the vacuum of space for millions of years before gravity pulls them toward Earth. If bacteria can survive this impossible journey frozen in stone, then life itself might spread naturally from planet to planet like seeds on the cosmic wind. But some meteorites contain more than just tiny fossils. They also hold complex organic molecules, the same carbon-based chemicals that make up all living things on Earth. These building blocks of life arrive from space every single day, raining down on our planet in a gentle shower of possibility. The implications are staggering, because they suggest life might not have started on Earth at all. Earth began its existence 4.5 billion years ago as a hellish world that would have killed any life we know today. The young planet spun through space, wrapped in clouds of poisonous gas, while its surface bubbled with oceans of molten rock. Massive asteroids the size of mountains crashed into the glowing landscape every few thousand years, each impact releasing enough energy to boil away entire seas. Scientists call this violent time the Hadean Eon because the planet resembled their idea of hell itself. For nearly a billion years, Earth remained a furnace too hot and dangerous for life to exist. The atmosphere contained no oxygen, only deadly methane and ammonia that would choke any breathing creature in seconds. Volcanic eruptions split the ground open in 1,000-mile-long cracks that spewed lava fountains higher than skyscrapers. The sun blazed 30% dimmer than today, leaving the world trapped between freezing cold and volcanic heat. Yet something remarkable happened during this impossible time. Deep beneath the chaos, liquid water began to pool in protected pockets between the rocks. Scientists have found tiny crystals called zircons that formed 4.4 billion years ago, and these ancient gems tell an amazing story. The way they grew shows they crystallized in the presence of water, proving Earth had oceans much earlier than anyone thought possible. If water existed during those violent early days, then perhaps life could have existed too. Modern scientists have discovered incredible organisms called extremophiles that thrive in conditions that would instantly kill normal life forms. These tough microbes live in boiling acid, freezing ice, and radiation that would melt human skin. Between 1.8 billion and 800 million years ago, Earth entered a period so quiet that scientists call it the boring billion. During this enormous stretch of time, nothing exciting seemed to happen on our planet. The fossil record shows almost no new life forms appearing, no major changes in the atmosphere, and no dramatic shifts in climate. For 1,000 million years, Earth remained locked in an eerie state of perfect balance that has puzzled researchers for decades. The oxygen levels in the atmosphere stayed exactly the same throughout this entire period, never rising or falling by more than tiny amounts. Ocean temperatures remained steady within a few degrees, and the chemistry of seawater barely changed at all. Even the continents sat in nearly the same positions, drifting so slowly that mountains had time to grow and erode away without disturbing the global calm. Most scientists believe evolution simply slowed down during this time because conditions were too stable to drive major changes in life forms. But this explanation raises a troubling question that keeps researchers awake at night. Natural planetary systems almost never remain stable for such incredibly long periods without some kind of management or control. The boring billion represents exactly the kind of environmental conditions an advanced civilization would want to maintain while using a planet's resources. Stable temperatures, steady atmospheric composition, and predictable ocean chemistry would provide perfect conditions for large-scale operations that required thousands of millions of years to complete. If visitors from another world had colonized Earth during this mysterious time, they would have had a billion years to explore every corner of our galaxy, harvest whatever materials they needed, and conduct experiments we cannot even imagine before quietly departing. Finding evidence of billion-year-old alien visitors would be like searching for a single grain of sand on every beach in the world. Any civilization that lived on Earth during the boring billion would have left behind traces, but those clues would now be buried under miles of rock or completely destroyed by the forces that constantly reshape our planet's surface. Earth's crust moves like a slow-motion conveyor belt, with old rocks sinking deep underground where crushing pressure and intense heat melt them back into liquid magma. This process, called plate tectonics, has recycled most of Earth's original surface dozens of times over billions of years. The seafloor that existed during the boring billion has long since disappeared into the planet's molten interior, taking any evidence with it. Yet some ancient rocks do survive in scattered locations around the globe. The oldest minerals on Earth are tiny zircon crystals that formed 4.4 billion years ago, somehow avoiding destruction through eons of geological violence. These microscopic time capsules preserve chemical signatures from when they first crystallized, offering tantalizing glimpses into our planet's earliest history. Scientists are now developing revolutionary techniques to detect what they call technosignatures, the fingerprints that any advanced technology would leave behind in rock and mineral formations. These might include unusual arrangements of rare metals, isotope ratios that could only result from nuclear processes, or geometric patterns too organized to form naturally. Future archaeological methods might use quantum sensors and artificial intelligence to recognize traces of ancient technology that human eyes would never notice. But even with such advanced tools, any evidence of billion-year-old visitors would be incredibly faint, like trying to read a book that has been buried in mud for longer than complex life has existed on Earth. 2.4 billion years ago, Earth's atmosphere underwent one of the most dramatic changes in our planet's history. For over a billion years, the air had contained almost no oxygen, making it impossible for animals like us to breathe. Then, in what scientists call the Great Oxidation Event, oxygen levels suddenly began climbing from nearly 0 to 21% of the atmosphere. This transformation happened so quickly that it poisoned most life forms that existed at the time, while creating the conditions that would eventually allow complex creatures to evolve. Most scientists believe tiny organisms called cyanobacteria caused this change by learning to capture sunlight and split water molecules, releasing oxygen as waste. These microscopic blue-green algae spread across ancient oceans, pumping out oxygen through a process we now call photosynthesis. Over millions of years, their combined efforts supposedly transformed Earth's entire atmosphere from a poisonous soup into the life-giving air we breathe today. But the timing of this oxygen revolution raises puzzling questions that keep researchers awake at night. The change happened far more rapidly than most biological processes, almost as if someone had flipped a switch to begin massive atmospheric engineering. Natural evolution typically requires millions of years to produce such dramatic results, yet Earth's oxygen levels increased at a pace that seems almost impossible for random biological changes. Advanced alien visitors might have deliberately modified Earth's atmosphere to make it suitable for oxygen-breathing life forms. They could have introduced enhanced cyanobacteria or used technology to accelerate natural photosynthesis on a planetary scale. Such atmospheric manipulation would require understanding chemistry and biology far beyond what early Earth life could achieve naturally. The oxygen revolution might represent the first large-scale terraforming project in our planet's history, designed by visitors who wanted to prepare Earth for future inhabitants. Deep inside every living cell on Earth lies a twisted ladder of molecules called DNA that stores the complete instructions for building and operating life. This genetic code uses only 4 chemical letters to write the story of every creature that has ever existed, from the tiniest bacteria to the largest whales. All life on our planet shares this same basic alphabet, suggesting that everything alive today descended from a single common ancestor that lived billions of years ago. Scientists have discovered that DNA can pack enormous amounts of information into incredibly small spaces. A single gram of DNA can store as much data as 700,000 computer hard drives stacked on top of each other. This amazing storage capacity has led some researchers to wonder whether advanced civilizations might hide messages in genetic code that would survive for billions of years, passed down through countless generations of evolving life forms. While no clear alien messages have been found written in our genes, the genetic code itself contains puzzling features that are difficult to explain through natural processes alone. Some parts of DNA seem perfectly organized in ways that suggest careful design rather than random evolution. The code appears optimized to minimize errors when copying genetic information, almost as if someone engineered it to work as efficiently as possible. Certain sections of human DNA contain long stretches of seemingly meaningless genetic letters that scientists call junk DNA. But recent discoveries show that some of this junk actually serves important functions we never understood before. Hidden within these mysterious genetic sequences could be information placed there long ago by visitors who wanted to ensure their knowledge would survive even if entire civilizations disappeared from the galaxy. The DNA inside your cells right now might contain secrets written by beings who lived on Earth billions of years before complex life began. If aliens visited Earth billions of years ago, they might have been cosmic gardeners traveling between star systems to plant the seeds of life throughout the galaxy. These hypothetical beings would need technology so advanced that it would seem like magic to us today, with spacecraft capable of crossing the vast emptiness between stars and surviving journeys that could last millions of years. The nearest star to our Sun sits over 4 light-years away, a distance so enormous that our fastest rockets would take 70,000 years to reach it. Such galactic gardeners would also need to understand biology and chemistry better than any scientist on Earth today. They would have to design living organisms that could survive on worlds with different atmospheres, temperatures, and chemical compositions. Each planet they visited would present unique challenges that would require custom-built life forms perfectly suited to local conditions. The visitors might carry libraries of genetic information collected from thousands of different worlds, mixing and matching biological features to create new forms of life optimized for each environment they encountered. They could engineer bacteria that breathe methane instead of oxygen, or design plants that grow in the light of red dwarf stars instead of yellow suns like ours. Some scientists believe this kind of galactic gardening might be common throughout the universe. Advanced civilizations could spread life from star to star as a way of ensuring that intelligence and consciousness continue to exist even if individual species or entire worlds are destroyed by cosmic disasters. These cosmic gardeners might view themselves as caretakers of life itself, traveling endlessly through space to nurture new worlds and guide the evolution of consciousness throughout the galaxy. Earth could be just one garden in a vast network of living worlds connected by ancient travelers who seeded the cosmos with the gift of life. Searching for billion-year-old alien artifacts on Earth presents challenges that would make finding a needle in a haystack seem easy by comparison. Any technology left behind by ancient visitors would now be buried under miles of sediment and rock, crushed by enormous pressure, or completely dissolved by billions of years of wind, rain, and geological activity. The evidence would be so faint and scattered that even our most advanced scientific instruments might miss it entirely. Yet scientists are beginning to develop new methods for detecting what they call technosignatures, the subtle fingerprints that any advanced civilization would leave in the geological record. Unusual mineral formations might indicate ancient mining operations that extracted rare metals in patterns too organized to occur naturally. Strange isotope ratios in very old rocks could reveal traces of nuclear technology or industrial processes that changed the normal chemistry of elements. Even the arrangement of continents might show signs of massive engineering projects that shaped Earth's surface billions of years ago. Computer models suggest that moving large amounts of material between different parts of the planet could alter how the continents drifted over geological time, leaving permanent changes in the positions of landmasses. Future space missions offer the best hope for finding clearer evidence of ancient visitors. The Moon and Mars have no atmosphere or moving crustal plates to erase old traces, so their surfaces preserve impacts and structures from billions of years ago, like dusty museums frozen in time. The Moon's face still shows every major asteroid impact from the past 4 billion years, each crater telling a story about cosmic violence that shaped our solar system. If aliens visited our neighborhood during Earth's early history, they might have left much more obvious signs on these airless worlds where nothing ever erodes away. The Panspermia hypothesis fundamentally changes how we think about life's place in the universe, transforming Earth from an isolated biological laboratory into part of a vast cosmic ecosystem where living organisms travel naturally between worlds. If microbes can survive the million-year journeys through space frozen inside meteorites, then life might be far more common throughout the galaxy than scientists ever imagined. Every star system could potentially harbor worlds where life arrived as passengers on wandering rocks, seeding planets with the basic ingredients for evolution and consciousness. This revolutionary idea also transforms how we search for life beyond Earth, expanding our focus from planets where life could originate to any world where hardy organisms might survive after arriving from elsewhere. Rocky planets orbiting distant stars no longer need perfect conditions for life to begin from scratch, only environments where transplanted microbes could take root and flourish over millions of years. Understanding how life spreads between worlds becomes critically important as humans begin exploring other planets ourselves. If living organisms regularly travel on meteorites and comets, we must carefully protect Earth from potentially harmful alien microbes while also avoiding contamination of other worlds with our own bacteria. Space missions already follow strict cleaning procedures, but panspermia research reveals that biological contamination might be a natural process that has shaped life throughout the cosmos. The hypothesis also suggests that studying life on Earth might teach us about biology on completely different worlds, since all cosmic life could share common ancestors that traveled between star systems. Every discovery about extremophile bacteria thriving in impossible conditions here might reveal clues about how life survives and evolves on planets we will never visit, connecting our understanding of biology to the entire universe through invisible threads of living matter drifting endlessly through space. We may never find definitive proof that aliens lived on Earth billions of years ago, because any evidence would be buried so deeply in geological time that recognizing it clearly becomes nearly impossible. The traces would be fainter than whispers, scattered across a planet that has recycled its surface countless times through eons of crushing pressure and molten heat. But the search itself teaches us profound lessons about life, planetary evolution, and the vast scales of cosmic time that dwarf human understanding. Revolutionary new technologies might help scientists detect ancient traces that previous generations of researchers could never have imagined finding. Advanced artificial intelligence could analyze patterns in rock formations and mineral compositions that human minds would never notice, while quantum sensors might detect technosignatures preserved in the atomic structure of very old materials. Space missions to the Moon, Mars, and asteroids offer the best hope for discovering better preserved evidence of ancient visitors, since these airless worlds act like museums that preserve billion-year-old artifacts in perfect vacuum conditions. Whether or not aliens once called Earth home during the boring billion, the panspermia hypothesis reminds us that life might be a cosmic phenomenon connecting all worlds throughout the galaxy. We could be part of an incredible story that spans entire star systems and reaches back to the very beginning of planetary formation around young stars. Right now, microscopic seeds of life might be traveling between distant worlds on wandering rocks, carrying the potential for new planets to bloom with consciousness and intelligence across the universe. In this vast cosmic garden where every world serves as both destination and launching point, Earth represents just one chapter in life's endless journey through space and time, forever spreading the miracle of biology from star to star.